for selecting this video. This video is going to be about weaving in ends with crochet and knit fibers. And I'm holding 3 yarn needles that I had in my collection. The first one is my absolute favorite one. I call this the golden needle. As you can see, it has a bent tip on the end, and that helps you to dig into the stitches and to hide your tail. And we're going to do that in just a minute, hide in these tails. And a yarn needle is classified as having a large eye. You can see that there. And the yarn goes easier into a large eye than it does a smaller one. Here we have just a regular plastic one. You can see it has a larger eye on it as well, and it has a straight point. And these are plastic, these are flexible, so you can get into maybe tighter stitches that you need to weave in. And then here is just a regular stainless yarn needle with a larger eye as well, and you can see this one just has a straight point, so there's no flexibility there. So my go-to, and you can get these at Joann's or Michael's, Hobby Lobby, but my go-to is the golden needle because it has that bent tip on it. But all of these work for weaving in ends. Okay, so we are going to weave in these ends on these 2 blocks that I have assembled here. And if you would like to know how to join crochet or knit pieces, you can check out the other video that I have uploaded on joining yarn blocks. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our yarn needle, and we're going to just pinch the yarn there, and we're going to stick that into the eye of the needle, and we're going to pull that through just like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to hide this tail because we don't want this tail to be seen. So what we're going to do is just going to go in from the back, pull that yarn through, go through the front, and you're going through that seam that you joined with or the fiber that you have. So we're just going in the back, bringing it all the way through into the front and through the back. And I like to do this for about 1.5 inches and just about this much. And this is why you want to have like a longer tail when you're working on a piece, so that if it does slip out of the eye of the needle, that you can just easily put it back in there. So now that we've went this way, we're just going to come back, and what that does is it just securely hides in that yarn. Like that. So at this point, we're just going to clip that as close as we can get it, and then you're ready to go. It'll be hidden, you won't be able to see it, and then on this side, you won't be able to see it either. Okay, next I want to show you how to weave in if you don't have 2 pieces that you have joined, and you just have a block or a crocheted piece, or maybe you're working on a blanket and every time you have to change color, you have a tail. And what I have discovered is when you have a lot of tails that you know you're going to have to be weaving in, I like to do those as I get finished with that color, so that at the end of the project I'm not weaving in ends, because that is not the fun part to any fiber art that we do. Okay, so you can see here that I'm using this time just the regular stainless steel large eye yarn needle, and I have already put my yarn through that. And so this time, instead of going in and out from the front to the back, what we're going to do is we're going to bring that through from the back to the front. And what I like to do is to mimic the stitches. So you can see here where the stitches are on this piece. So we're just going to go behind those. Let me bring it up closer. So whatever you see here, you're just going to weave it in and out, pulling that through. And what I like to do is maybe go down the piece a little bit. And what that is doing is it's securing in that tail. So we can turn the piece, and anywhere that you see there that stitch is going to be hid, you can go in there. And so what I'm doing is I'm kind of creating a backtrack, so to speak. I went down into the stitches from the beginning, and now I'm just working my way back up to the top, just hiding those stitches. Okay, so I'm working my way back up to the top, as you can see, and it just hides your tail and it just makes it invisible. So you see I'm working my way back up to where I started. So now I'm just going to trim that as close as I can there. And you can see that I hid that tail. You can't see it at all. Okay, here I have a knitted block, and this is a lacy pattern, and we are going to weave in this end. And it's a little bit different with knit because we want to hide this and not make it look obviously that the tail has been woven in. So from the beginning of the video, I showed you how to just pinch your yarn there, get it as close as you can to the eye of that needle. And what that does is, and sometimes the yarn does want to split, that's okay. We're just going to pinch that end and stick it into the eye of the needle. And we see that it comes through there. Okay, so on knit and crochet, you want to weave in your ends on the wrong side of the fabric. So here you have the front side, which has the obvious design and pattern. And this is the back side. I know that because I see the bumps for the pearls there that I have done on this piece. Okay, so on the knitting, you want to go down the bumps. So if you can see here, there's a bump. We're going to go under that. I'm going to go down here, under the bump. I'm going to go up the bump there. We're just hiding that. See how that just hid that right there? So I'm working my way over here. So we're just going to go down, go up. Okay. Now, on most knitting, you will see that when you're on the purl side, you have that bump there. But if you look real closely between these stitches, you have the bar of the stitch there that creates the purl. And what I've discovered, if you go underneath that bar and pull that through, and then you go up the next bump, or it would be down, but if you're facing this way it would be up. So you do that. Watch what happens here. I'm going to go under that bar. Whoops. Pull my yarn out. And again, that's why I emphasize a longer tail when you start a project, and that way you have more to weave in at the end. Okay, so I went under that bar, so now I'm just going to go up through one of those bumps. And again, I'm working my way back to where I started. So I'm going to go under one of these bars there. And I'm just going to go through a bump. And at this point, I think I'm just going to clip it off. And you see it's hidden. So you don't lose the pattern that the fabric created, and it's perfectly hidden. And on this